Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Are you on mute? There's no sound. I can't hear you.
I did nothing.
Now you're good.
For real?
For real. I wouldn't lie about that.
I have no idea what. Well, I owe you a Tuesday.
Nice.
Thank you.
For a replay. On a replay.
Well, isn't it Tuesday? Really? When we do this, that's what people will think, right?
It is Tuesday, yes.
Yeah. This recording these is so complicated.
We probably ought to write that down on the side. Anyhow, hey folks.
How do those guys, like the guys who host Jeopardy, they only work 46 days a year, and they record like a week's worth of shows in one day.
But
so
they
at
don't
9 a.m. they're
identify.
doing they're doing Monday, 10 a.m. they're doing, I can't imagine.
But they never say this is Monday. And
Well,
they have teleprompters. We need teleprompters.
Well, maybe I'm not going to give the day anymore. No,
you
it
give
needs the day. Yeah,
It's part of your personal brand.
Nice segue.
So everyone, I'm not sure what we just talked about for the last 2 minutes, but I think we determined that yes, Bob is still going to give the day while he does his do. And that is part of our opening program and part of his personal brand that he is becoming known for. And that's what we're talking about.
Known.
You have people who copied that. At least 2. 3. So it's not like nobody knows about it. It is part of your personal brand.
I am becoming very embarrassed right now.
I know we haven't done this to you in a while, and it's good. It's about time we do that again.
Why does this embarrass you, Bob? What's wrong?
Yeah,
is this making you uncomfortable?
Why are you uncomfortable about
Let
this?
me ask you a question, Bob. I know what you're trying to do.
Don't you like your personal brand that you've created and have chosen to do?
So much of what happens with this program just happens. That's one of the things. And I will tell you, when I watch some of these programs, like on replay, I'm amazed. I don't know where it comes from.
You made what?
Amazed at the things you and I talk about. Like if you and I had scripted these out to the minute, we wouldn't have the discussions we have. And by the way, people, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're wearing the same clothes we had on what is today, Monday, and now it's Tuesday to you. So we're being lazy. It's a little warm, and Tom and I both had a lunch today where we were sweltering outside, and I didn't feel like getting another shirt covered in sweat today. So I figured one was enough for the day.
Fair.
Yeah. So my personal brand took a hit there because the perfect personal brand might have worn a different color shirt.
Well, maybe you are creating a new personal brand that you're always going to wear a blue shirt.
If only it had a Renegade Success Network logo on.
You know, here's the funny thing about that. Since we're
What's
talking,
the funny thing about that, Tom? Go ahead.
The funny thing about that, it's hard to find online companies who have tall, large shirts.
Queensboro Port Authority brand.
I'm not going to wear a Queensboro. So there's my personal brand. I'm probably not going to wear a Queensboro Port Authority shirt very often. I was looking at like
you could get yours
Nike comfortable moisture wicking shirts.
A Nike extra. No one cares about this, but a Nike extra large would work.
It is part of the brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If we choose it to be.
Correct. And that is an option that we have to consider, or we just go with what we have and be okay with that. And people will just have to deal with it. Some days we may wear the exact same shirts that we were wearing because we recorded this conversation. Wow. So we have not at all talked about the topic. That's a little bit about yesterday's topic, which we recorded this morning, or we did this morning, talking about.
No, we did yesterday morning. If you're telling we did yesterday's topic, would have been recorded yesterday.
We may want to stop and record again. No. So today's topic,
nothing is truer.
Today's topic is personal branding and others' view. Yesterday we talked about your personal brand being who you are, a little bit about who you are. And Bob shared that a lot of that is by choice. We can choose that. I shared some thoughts about, when our true personal brand comes out is in those times when we are challenged. And sometimes we find things out about ourselves or others that goes against the brand that we work so hard to deal with. And so I think one of the things that happens with that is when we have those situations, we now provide others with a different viewpoint of who and what we are. And that's a little bit about what our conversation is supposed to be about today, is personal brand and how others view what our personal brand is. So do you want to share some thoughts about that, Bob, or should we just continue talking about nothingness?
No, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
I think what others view of our personal brand is all that matters. It doesn't matter what I think about my personal brand at the end of the day. It's what you think about it. It's what Steve thinks about it, what Bill thinks about it, what Susan and Maria and the person I meet at the grocery store. They're the ones who dictate what my personal brand is ultimately. Yes, I can do things to help them see it certain ways. I can wear a polo shirt, or I can wear a sweatshirt, or wife beater, or a hoodie, or a suit, a tuxedo. I have all those choices. Each of those conveys something different. But someone might see me in a tuxedo and go, wow, he's really committed to what he does. Someone else might see me in a tuxedo and go, what a buffoon. Right?
Fair, absolutely.
And so those two people with diametrically opposed points of view about me, both of them are right. And I've done one thing, worn a tuxedo, and both of those people have made an assessment, right?
I am going to disagree with that and say it is not what is right. They are not right. That's just what's real for them.
Okay. That's a good clarification. I agree with you.
I mean,
yes, that's a much better description. Thank you.
That's the way they view it. And I think, you said that that's all that matters. And I don't know. I think sometimes if all we worry about is what matters to somebody else, are we truly creating our own personal brand, or is it just what we think everyone else wants to see?
Well, but what I'm saying is I can't control how you look at my personal brand completely. I can give you hints, I can point you in a direction, but it's like leading a horse to water. I can point the water out to the horse, but until that horse bends down and drinks the water, I don't really have much power to affect that act. And I think that's where we've got to think about branding, what others' views are. So often people are like, well, my personal brand is this. We give the best customer service. We're always prompt. Really? I've dealt with your company that you've been late 3 times. What? Yeah, that's what I observed of your company. Well, that's not how it's supposed to be. Okay,
fair.
That's all well and good, but that's how it is. To me, the customer, you were late 3 times. And by the way, I'm using a hypothetical. I'm not talking about any company, I promise.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, that's a cover my butt comment if ever there was one.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because, it's funny. I had a strong reaction to you saying what they care about is what their viewpoint is the only thing that matters. Because I think that it's funny. I wonder if that's a true renegade belief. Now, it could be reckless to not care what they believe. Got that in there. And it might be just, this is who I am, take it or leave it. Now, you are doing that at the risk of people leaving it, and lots of people leaving it, which, if that's what's real for you, that's your choice. You can choose that. Be like, you know what? If you don't like the brand that I have, that I am, I'm okay with that. You go do what you want to do. I'm all right. Now, in the business world, that could be hard because there are only so many people who can buy from you, and and that's a little bit of a scarcity mentality. You might say, you know what, there are enough people out there who truly would appreciate, whether they agree with my personal brand or not, appreciate that I am true to my personal brand, and that what others view of it is not, I'm not going to change who and what I am just to please others. Those that I would be drawn to will be drawn to me because of the brand that I have put forward.
Haven't you changed who and what you are, Tom, to do this broadcast each day? You wouldn't be wearing a polo shirt right now. We've made a commitment to each other to do this every day.
Correct.
And here we are recording the episode for tomorrow. We could just as easily say, you know what, Bob, you do it. I won't be there. Or, hey, you know what? We've done 359 of these. Let them have a day off. What's going to happen? Is the world really focused on this to that level?
Yeah.
But we've made the commitment to broadcast this tomorrow. Now,
true.
That decision is ours. What we can't control is how many people watch it. It might be 3,
no doubt,
30, 300, 3,000, 30,000, any number in between. That's where, so part of our personal brand is we're consistent every weekday morning.
Correct.
But we can't control. And someone might be like, oh my God, these guys are prattling on again. Didn't they just do this yesterday? Am I watching the same thing? Because we look the same,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So we make decisions that affect our personal brand. And we chose to be consistent with this broadcast because we thought it was a good model. We thought it would help people if we were consistent. Those were decisions that we made. Believe me, Tom, I can tell you right now, all things being equal right now, if I had my choice, I wouldn't be doing this every morning at 8 a.m. It's trying to get, as you can see, we've recorded more of them in the last, 3 weeks?
Sure.
Than probably in the first year and 3 months. We're going to be doing more and more of that, I fear.
Which is, well, maybe that's not necessarily something to fear. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Right. I think what we have chosen, and kind of almost whether people watch or not, we have chosen that we believe, well, this is what is real for us, is that we should provide this and put out what we believe to be real. So that somebody out there might benefit. We don't know who, we don't know when, we don't know why, but we believe that when others share what's real for them, other people benefit. Or when we share what's real for us, other people benefit from our sharing. And that in and of itself is enough if no one watches.
Right.
So I think that's what it is. I think it's interesting what you said about would I be wearing a polo. I think that for those who know me, they would say this is my personal brand. That I typically wear a polo and I typically have it buttoned all the way to the top.
Okay.
As my wife said when we were walking around Gatlinburg, Tennessee, she said, you probably are the only person in this entire community walking up and down the street in a polo buttoned up to the top. And as I looked around, I was like, you know what? You're probably right. And I'm okay with that. They can look at me and say I'm weird. I don't care.
Right. But if someone were going to approach you and say, hey, Tom, I listened to your broadcast and I want to talk to you about working together, but I see you're in Gatlinburg wearing a polo shirt and you've gotten buttoned all the way up. I just don't like that look. I'm not going to work with you. You're okay with that. What I think is the complicating factor is we don't know when what we do or don't do with our personal brand is affecting others unless we really look for it and ask the hard questions.
Correct.
Hey, should I dress this way? Does this, when I come to your office, does this feel comfortable to you that I'm dressed this way? Well, actually, Bob, I prefer that you had a dress shirt on and a tie. Now I have a choice.
Right.
I can shift to what they would like me to be, or I can say, hey, this is it. I'm polo shirt Bob. Get the heck over it. Those each have their own potential benefits and their own potential drawbacks. But what happens so often, I think, is we create this mythical personal brand, and then we don't take in the information that, hey, the fact that I don't wear shoes to every networking event is really throwing things.
Fair.
I'm sure there's someone who does it, or They wear a crazy hat for every networking event, right?
I know somebody like that. We used to call the hat lady, and I think she reveled in that. She enjoyed that. She felt like that was a way that she was remembered, because people would be like, hey, now maybe they remembered her because of the hat and not because of what she did or who she helped. Sure.
And there's a guy who does that now.
Yeah,
that we've interacted with.
correct.
And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying anything about it. What I would say is, if it's a conscious choice and you or anyone else is willing to deal with the implications of that choice, then you've got your personal brand.
Correct.
But if you're constantly changing yourself, well, I'm wearing a polo shirt today and I'm wearing a tie tomorrow and I'm wearing a tuxedo the next day and I'm wearing a clown suit Friday. Which are you, dude?
Are you going to wear a clown suit Friday? That would be awesome. Just saying. It wouldn't help your personal brand, but it would be funny. Especially when you did your do. That would be.
I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen. So, Tom, what's your one thing?
It's interesting. Mine's gone back and forth throughout this because I think your whole conversation was good. I think others' view is an important factor that we have to consider. And that consideration is, do we consider and care about what others feel? Or do we choose to say, this is who I am and this is the way I'm going to be, no matter what the risk or impact it may have on who and what we are? And I think those are choices that we have the opportunity to make. The challenge sometimes is, as you said so well, we don't always know unless we take the time to ask and try to understand how does what I'm doing come across? I think we talked yesterday about going to lunch. Mm-hmm. And what I would, is it okay to wear shorts and I finally got to the point, not that anyone cares. I couldn't find the shirts I wanted to wear, so I threw on jeans and I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm wearing jeans. I don't care what anybody says or looks. If they kick me out of the place, I'm all right with that. I'll go home. And I think at some point that's eventually what we have to do. Who are we and what's the brand that we want to put out there? Understanding how others may perceive and then figuring out if we want to be concerned about that or choose to stay true to, this is who I am and this is the brand I want to put out there. It doesn't matter whether people agree, disagree, think I'm crazy. That's okay. I'm all right with that. I'm doing it because I am choosing. And actually, I think that is a renegade thing, is that you are choosing to do your thing. You're choosing what you want to do. It's not because somebody told you had to, although you might consider it. It's because this is what is real for you in the moment. And you are comfortable with that.
I like that. I have nothing to add except I was dying to wear shorts to that meeting today, but because I was president of the organization, I felt like I had to wear long pants.
Which is okay. You made that choice. It's funny because I was like, I could wear shorts. I'm all right with that. If people don't like it, so be it.
And I think in retrospect, we could have all worn shorts and it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. Because nobody else, probably, there weren't three people around us that were paying any attention at all to three guys sitting at a table.
Three old guys sitting at a table.
Fair. Right. Of all the people they could be observing, it probably wasn't us. So,
all right, Tom, you got to wrap this puppy up because I got to be somewhere.
All right. Well, thanks, Bob, for your time. And we hope
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way.
That's okay. You're all right. It's fine. I just am expecting now a clown suit on Friday. But we'll see how that goes. Anyhow, everyone, thanks so much for being a part of this. If you have thoughts about how others' view impacts your personal brand and what that might look like, please feel free to share them in the comments. And if you'd like to share an additional one thing, that would be awesome. Because we know, as I mentioned earlier, that when we share what's real for us, it adds value to others. It changes and impacts what's real for them in some way. Whether they can use it now or they can use it in the future, it adds to their knowledge, experience, and perspective. And so please feel free to do that. You can do it in the comments or you can do it inside the Ring of Renegades. And if you are not yet a member of our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, please join us. Just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and you just have to ask to join because it is a private group. It's a group that we are creating space for people to get together to figure out what is their next step. how do they determine what is the personal brand they have and what do they want to do next, and how they keep moving along their own unique pathway to success. So we hope that we will see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. If not, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. And here is some further information about the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Take care.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insights and advice, share inspiration, provide support, and save you time and money. But where do you find all that? Here's the easy answer: the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners identify their next steps. Here's some of what you will find at the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Just go to ringofrenegades.com and join today. Find and accomplish those next steps.